Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. Are we recording? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Good to see. I know I'm not the usual host, Mr. Jamie with his awesome smile. But I just want to welcome you all in. Make sure that you're getting everybody in the waiting room. Will. Today is day 3 of our daily launch calls, and it's been an amazing last few days. Super excited to be here with you all. We will be getting here started shortly. Just going to be letting a few more people in because we got started a couple minutes late. So if you're excited to be here, drop a 111 in the chat. We got some amazing information. If you haven't been on the last couple of days, we're going to be talking about some of the new developments here at Incomation. Awesome. Yes, drop a 111 if you're excited. If you don't know, I recently got brought onto the team, and I've just been so excited to just be working with this amazing community. Jamie's just been an amazing leader, creating just a divine system is the easiest way I could put that. So if you're excited to be a part of this and you're ready to create funded freedom, whether it's on the financial side or whether it's in your personal life, whether it's your relationships, your health, just feeling completely free, like I said, drop a 111 in the chat. We got people from TikTok, we got LinkedIn going, we got Facebook, we got a couple of streaming platforms. So I'm really excited to have you guys on. We'll get started here shortly. We're bringing on Mr. Jamie Devine here in just a moment. And so I'm actually kind of curious, where are you guys calling in from? Where are you calling in from? If you're here on Zoom, or even if you're on the live stream, I would love to know where you're calling in from. We're currently here in the Philippines, Davao City, where our new headquarters is launching. Oh, we got New York in this. We got New York on the chat. Someone said Zoom. Yeah, I mean like the city, the state, the country. We got Boise, Idaho. My vision's not doing too well right now. We got Tennessee, we got Florida in the house, Texas. I'm actually lived in Texas, Dallas, Texas for the last 20 years. Oh, we got Colombia. Viva Colombia. We got Seattle, Washington. Awesome. We got the UK. We got people on different continents right now. And if you're actually I'm gonna actually have you guys muted just so we're not and okay, I'm sorry. Let's see, how do I do this? Will, if you're watching this, if you could please just make sure everyone's muted. So what time is it? It is 11:06 p.m. I'm here Tennessee in the house. You're the only 10 I see. We got Stockholm. Awesome. Beautiful. So I'm not gonna longer. I just want you to get this awesome information. So without a further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. Jamie Devine. He's our CEO of Incomation. And so Mr. Devine, if you are here, if you could please get here on the call and let's bring the magic, brother.
Thank you, Sam. Welcome everyone to the call. It's been going a million miles a minute over here in the Philippines. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I was just tying up a few things. It's been really exciting. We had a photo shoot today because we're getting featured in Forbes magazine, which is like just a super honor. So I'm excited for that to come out for all of you. But yeah, lots going on over here at the system behind the scenes. Really excited to do these calls every day and bring you guys up to speed. And literally, that's how fast things have been going, that we do need a daily call to disseminate everything and keep you on the leading edge here. So we got Joshua Willamette on the call. He's going to be coming on and sharing a couple of our main financial products. Sam, do we have the slides ready to go there? What's up? Okay. Couple slides we'll bring up for some visuals. Some people were requesting that. I like to just speak from the heart, go with the flow, but a couple visuals for all of you kind people. Never hurt anyone. So I'll pull those up here. Let's see, just give me a sec. All right. Which, what's up here, bud?
It's on your WhatsApp.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should have put it up.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay, I got them. Okay, here we are. Just throw a one in the chat if you can see my screen, please. You can see the slides. Just throw a one in the chat so I know that you can see them. Where did the chat go? Here we go. Okay, perfect. Thank you all. Awesome. So one of the main things that we're excited about is bridging the gap between all of the, excuse my French, bullshit in the retail market. If you've been a retail investor for any length of time, I'm sure you've been part of the PAMs and the scams and the whams and the dams and the all of those that are just super frustrating, because at the end of the day, we don't have many options in the retail space that you can secure your funds and actually trust that they're in the right hands and that they're actually going to grow. The only true trustworthy places are traditional systems for the most part that don't get any returns, and you're getting eaten alive just from inflation, just to keep your funds the way they are. So we're going to be talking about Forex and crypto, and you'd be right to guess that these are risky markets, you know, traditionally. And it's even worse because 99% of the time, the platforms and the people and everyone involved in those spaces are usually just out to take your money. And I know that's a depressing thought, but it is the truth. Anyone that's been around these industries for the last few years can attest to that. So really, we're just sick of all of the ego-driven leadership, the people that do not give two shits about you and your family or your money, and they just want your money to become their money. And so we've created a safe haven here at Incomation, where we've gone out and vetted the institutional systems that are legitimate, that don't get away with all the BS in the retail space. And we were able to onboard those as an institute by pooling our resources together as a community. And so we've figured out how to be able to open that up to the entire community, where a traditional institutional fund would normally be on the very minimum $250,000 to invest. We've been able to bridge the gap and create a space that anyone with $500 can be a part of that institutional system with us. So really excited about that. That's really our main intention right now, is to create that bridge. And it's come together very nicely. Sam, I'm having a little trouble here with the, going to the next slide. Oh, there we go. Is it down? This is how much I use slides. Okay, so it's funny, literally 10 minutes ago before the call, there was this really large mission statement on this slide. And I told Sam and the dev team, just delete that entire thing, because it's real simple. We're here to free the humans on Earth. And I'll let that sink in because of course that's a bold statement. I realize that. But I can truly come from a position of strength after achieving freedom in all realms on earth as a human. Started out as a human. Inside joke. So, of course, financially, we're here to provide those systems that truly over time can compound your funds, can give you monthly cash flow so you're not selling your time to someone that doesn't care about you, that would replace you, 1 week after your memorial service, to put it lightly. And really on the flip side, getting to the true freedom, which is our level of consciousness, and we'll get to that at the end of the presentation here. But I really want you guys just to feel where we're coming from. We have a really strong leadership team that's all about integrity, because there's absolutely zero ego involved. And there are not many places on the planet right now that you can go that there is zero ego. And that is why we're able to achieve what most people would deem as magic miracles on the daily, because we're coming from that place. And that's why we're able to move at this speed, because there isn't that energy resisting us. So this is a few of the team members. Mr. Jamie looks familiar. Then we got Don Smith, who's our Chief Divinity Officer. And if you haven't met Don and you don't know what Don does, you've probably never seen a CDO before. So he's the world's first CDO. We'll introduce that at a later time. Nicholas out of Kansas City. Nicholas has been a friend of mine for many years now, and he's worked closely with Don all the way up until yesterday. Shout out to you, Nicholas. I heard you had a really amazing shift, even after all the work you've already done. It's funny, if you haven't talked to Don, and after about a month's time, Don is just 100% laser focused in what he does, that it shifts so much, if you haven't talked to him, that you just get to a whole new level just by connecting, even if it's only been a month. So shout out to you, Nicholas. Nicholas has been handling the trading side of things. He's been helping onboard trading systems and testing trading systems. He just got all of our trading systems up on MyFX Book, which is a third-party verification system, which shows full transparency of every single trade that happens on the accounts. You guys can follow that. We did that for the Pioneer Fund as well. So we'll be posting that inside of our groups. Will has been absolutely monumental to creating this system. It's been here by my side in the Philippines since inception, and he's our chief operations. He's managed our team all the way up to over 70 members, and it's been a crazy wild ride. We're not even a year into this thing, and it's amazing how far we've come. We got Sam, who you just met on the beginning of the call here. Looks like he's CEO too. We don't care about titles here. Sam saying it was a typo, but I don't believe him. No, just kidding. Yeah, you put CEO, it's fine. We're all partners here at the end of the day. We're all on the same mission, which is to free everyone up. We came from a place running our human toxic patterns, and now we don't. So we love to help everyone get through that tunnel, which can be dark and scary if you're trying to do it alone. We also are just forming Josh's pictures. We wanted to have Josh on here, but you'll meet him on the call in a minute. And Josh has also been a friend of mine for years. And again, the foundation for all of these people is that elimination of the ego, so they have pure intention, pure integrity, so there's absolute trust. And that's very rare to find in the world, very rare, especially to find in the trading atmosphere, in the financial realm, and the marketing realm. So bringing those huge pillars together, the banking system, everything is very interesting. The first time that it's ever been done without ego. Okay, so just going to give you a quick overview of our lineup of products here, and then I'll hand it over to Josh to go a little deeper into the numbers. But the crypto fund was created because Josh has been in the institutional world for a few years now and had an absolutely amazing crypto bull run in 2021 after he worked with Don in 2020 and really went all in the crypto market and became a millionaire at the age of 22. So he's really dialed in the science. He has an amazing team around him as well that keeps his finger on the pulse. And I'll let him get into the numbers, but he achieved absolutely unbelievable to the traditional world numbers back in 2021. And he intends to duplicate that for us with the crypto fund. Now, initially, Josh just intended to do it for friends and family. And of course, I connected with him right away. You know, here's my funds, Josh. I trust you, and run with it. But my second question to Josh was, or my first actually, I didn't have any questions when I sent him the money. My first question was, how do we open this up to our entire community? And Josh said, well, that's a whole legal world. And I said, don't worry, I'll go on that journey and figure it out for us so that we could bring it to everyone, because that can really create life-changing results for people involved in that. The Forex fund is ran by a PAM, which any PAM I've ever seen in the current world has been a scam. It's straight up. I mean, anyone that I've seen promote a PAM has either not had real trading behind the scenes or just totally ran off with the money, or both. And so what a PAM is, though, is just simply a tool to have a master account and have sub accounts, but it's all about the trading system of who's actually handling the master account. And anyone can put their retail robot on it and say it's AI machine learning, and then blows up in everyone's faces 3 months from now, and you know, trader goes ghost. And we've seen that on repeat over and over again. So when we put this together, it was really important that we had, as I mentioned before, a real institutional level system. And that's Josh's contact, Yako. He's been working with them for years, and I'll get Josh to give that overview as well. Now, the smart contracts, this is super, and again, if you've seen a smart contract before, I know the ones that I saw, I immediately identified the power of the technology, but unfortunately, the power of that technology was tied to ego-driven leadership. And so I've seen companies that literally their whole company was just a smart contract, and it was just like a gifting circle where you just put money in and money shoots out to the people that referred them. And so that's not what we're doing here. But what we're doing is using the technology. And so when someone signs up to our community, the smart contract is an automated process so that there's no payroll or accounting that needs to happen on our end. And our partners get their funds immediately after referring someone. So instant funds. You refer someone to the system, and literally within that second that they sign up, the funds that you deserve for the referral are placed into your wallet, which is super exciting for both sides. I mean, how many programs, if you've been an affiliate before, have you worked with that either didn't end up paying your commissions, or they delayed it for many, many weeks? And I know when we had our first run with Incomation, we were so overwhelmed with people that even though we intended to have all of the commissions paid on time, we had humans working behind the scenes that just couldn't handle it. We started off with one of the top accounting firms in America, and they just didn't know how to process crypto. They just weren't there yet. And so it was really a hard road for us to stay on top of all that. And that was one of my biggest pain points, because of how important the partners are to us, is that how do we make sure that these guys get rewarded instantly without any delays, without any mistakes, so that we take that that middle factor away, and that's a smart contract, and that's why I'm so excited about it, because it just speeds everything up. It doesn't slow anything down for the flow of everything for everyone. So super exciting there. So Divine Markets is the next aspect of this, and it's funny because any one of these products is normally an entire company. So we're literally building like these mini companies inside of our system. And the reason we're doing that is not because, we want to just control every aspect, but it's like what I mentioned in the beginning, and it's just really hard to find trustworthy people in these systems. And so the only way we were able to 100% trust things is if we knew everything that was happening within these systems. And so that's why we created our own brokerage. It's not to do anything other than have a safe place for the funds. It's one of the main moving parts for the trading aspect, so that we're able to know what's happening on both sides, the trading and the brokerage. I can give you so many horror stories of brokerages that have been run by people that we knew and that told us that they're a book and they're this and that. And then you find out that maybe they have one or two accounts, their own personal accounts on a book, and then everything else in their system is B book, which means it's in-house trading, which means if you're trading in that system, they have complete control of the entire environment with the spreads and the slippage. And all that means is that they can easily manipulate a winning trade to be a losing trade. And they're actually incentivized to do that, because when you lose the trade, they get 100% of the money. And that is almost every single brokerage that I've ever come across. Because in the trading world, if you're running a brokerage, 99 out of 100 traders are losing traders. And so the best way that they can make the most money is by having a system that is all in-house that they can manipulate and take your money when you lose. So even if you're a successful trader, we've seen, we were dealing with the prop firm industry, which is a whole other ball game. But it's just like the brokerage industry, where they're running a casino behind the scenes, and it's actually worse than a casino, because when you go to the casino, there's a small chance that you can actually succeed, right? Like majority of the odds are on the house, but you do have some odds in your favor. But when you're talking about these brokerages and these prop firms that are running everything B-book behind the scenes, it's 100% in their favor. So even if you do come across a winning trading system, you're going up against that, and you have no idea what they're doing behind the scenes. The only reason I do is because we got to the place where we were so deep that we were connecting with the liquidity providers and becoming our own brokerage. And we saw how everything, our own prop firm, which we totally scrapped that idea, but once we found out the truth of how prop firms work, but it's just sad to see, again, all the ego that's just selfishly like a parasite looking to suck your money from you, no matter what, no heart for you at all. And that's why we have the brokerage system. And the banking system is the same thing. Even if you can trust your bank, I've dealt with some of the biggest banks globally, but in order to transfer any funds or receive any funds, they're asking you 101 questions. I've had transfers held up for weeks. A big transfer to our lawyers, it got held up for 3 weeks, and then it got declined. And then they couldn't even tell me why it was declined. And it's like, whose money is it? Is it yours or is it the bank's? And so we went on this journey to get a partner with the system to have all of our own banking licenses, so that we have our own fiat currency and crypto accounts and debit cards all within our own banking system. So our card doesn't get blocked like mine does with the big traditional banks almost every week. I got to call in and press 3 and then 6 doesn't work. And then I'm on hold for 20 minutes. And then they get on the phone, they say, you got to come to the branch to do it. And I say, I'm out of the country. What do you want me to do? Fly in just to get my card unblocked? Crazy. Or you're actually a successful company like we were in the beginning, dealing with a big company like Wise, and you're on hold with the business bank line saying, why is my limit so low? You can see all of the income coming in, you can see all the money in the account, but then you max me out with the card every month. We got expenses. Like, can you increase it? No, everyone gets the same. It's like, man, what the heck? So that's why we've gone on this crazy journey to create all of these parallel systems, really just because we haven't found partners that are operating from this level of integrity and speed that we have become used to. So that's a long-winded deep dive on, on the product line. I'm going to bring up Josh now so he can dive into some numbers for you guys on the crypto fund and the Forex fund. And Josh, maybe you can share some of your experiences just to add to what I'm saying here on how how much is needed to have a real, trustworthy system, and just the horror stories I know that you've been in, people that we thought were our friends for years, brokerages that ran PAMs. I mean, I know you've lost hundreds of thousands, if not a million or more to these types of systems. So take it away, bro. Don't want to scare everyone, but they got to know where we're coming from, so that they understand why we're putting this all together for them. So great to see you. Love the shirt. Take it away, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, brother, for having me as always. And yeah, welcome to all the new individuals on this call. I know that, as Jamie said, that today is day 3 of these calls, so we're super excited to be doing them. So for everybody new here, I'll give a brief background of myself. So personally, I've been a full-time entrepreneur now for around a decade. And I first got exposed to the financial industry around 2016, 2017, which at that time was a crypto bull run. And prior to that, I was just doing various other online businesses in different niches, but I seen how lucrative the financial world was, and simply how much money there was to be made in this arena and industry. So that's when and where I planted my flag in this industry was around 2016. And then from 2016 until 2019, my main focus was in specifically the retail trading industry. So Jamie and myself, we traveled all around the world building different retail trading companies. We built teams of thousands and thousands of people, specifically in Asia. And the problem that we ran into is that we were just marketing various companies that we had a lot of trust and faith in, and we simply just got caught chasing our tail in circles. And what I mean by that is either the owners would have disagreements and the company would fall apart from the top, or we were lied to about the products and we were told one thing, but behind the scenes, the products were actually just complete garbage. So me personally, I just simply had enough of wasting my time and energy building these massive businesses just for them to collapse overnight, completely out of my control. So that's when in 2019, I personally made the transition into the institutional world. So from building my retail trading business, I met a lot of contacts and connections in the institutional world. This consisted of various hedge funds, various institutional traders, etc. So that is when I founded my company, and what we do is raise capital for these various institutional strategies. So for the last 3-4 years, that has been my 100% main focus. And the main thing about these institutional strategies is that because they're institutional, the minimum ticket size to get involved with them for the strategies to properly work is $250,000. So that means the last 4 years, I've only been dealing with high net worth individuals, various companies, CEOs, family offices, etc. And I have most definitely had a great time and experience in this industry. But where my heart lies and why Jamie and I reconnected and got on the same path again is because at the end of the day, I was just helping rich people get richer, where me being prior in the retail space, why I had so much fun with that is because the retail space is where we can really help the small guy. But like I said, from my experience in the retail space, it was just scam after scam, lie after lie. And I kept my eye on the space and the industry throughout the time I was in the institutional space. And it's the same story on repeat, just scam, scam, scam. And here we are today. I've yet to see one real retail trading operation. So that's when Jamie, at the beginning of the year, called me up to find out more about our institutional strategies, etc., and specifically about bringing it to the retail market. And I absolutely loved the idea and seen the market opportunity. I mean, the retail space is absolutely ginormous. But the main problem that we ran into is, like I said, our minimum deposit size for our fund managers to even touch the account was $250,000. So that's where Jamie and I had to come up with a solution, and it was an easy solution. That was really the only hurdle that we had to get through to actually bring this technology and strategies to the marketplace. And the answer for that problem is very simple. So Jamie spoke a bit about it prior on this call, but how we're setting it up and how we're structuring it to make it operate is we're going to be operating in what is called a PAM account. So a PAM account is essentially all clients' money pooled into one account. And for us to get this kickstarted again, so our fund managers to trade it, we simply needed to get that PAM account to $250,000. Once it's to that level, then we can start accepting any deposit size $500 and above. So that's how we were able to actually bring these institutional strategies to the marketplace. And then as well, I'll give a background on the strategies, who the fund managers are, etc. So our main fund manager, he has over 20 years of actual trading experience. And his biggest success in his institutional career was he was the main fund manager for a hedge fund in Canada, which is called the Cargo Fund. And he was responsible for managing a book value of $40 billion with a B. And he, about 5-6 years ago, he left the traditional corporate world to create his own fund and market his own strategies. So when he left the traditional world, he also brought a ton of his partners with him. And these partners, these include traders, fund managers, but most importantly, mathematicians and engineers. So because he was able to bring his mathematicians and engineers, that allowed him to build his entire system in-house. So our algorithms and our trading systems, they're not just rent off the internet. They're not just bought off eBay. They're, like I said, built entirely in-house. And his systems, they costed him over $20 million to build this technology. And then the main asset classes that he is trading in is only 3 currency pairs. So these currency pairs consist of the Euro USD, USD JPY, and lastly, the Euro JPY. So why I highlight those three currency pairs is because those are the three most liquid pairs in the entire world. So we're not trading any crazy commodities. We're not trading any crazy exotic pairs. It's just those three most liquid pairs and those pairs only. And then for statistics on the strategy, which is, in my opinion, the most impressive. So we have 7 years of tracked data. And in that 7 years of tracked data, we have never had one losing year. We have had, and we do have, losing months, but we always recover those months and come back into a positive for the year. And then for ROI, we are averaging roughly 65% a year out of those 7 years of tracked data, which is equal to roughly 5% a month. And then the max drawdown for those 7 years of data that we have ever seen was 14%, and that occurred in 2018. Typically, the drawdown stays under 10%. And then lastly, because this is a retail call and retail investors we're dealing with, we know that you guys are looking for even greater and more wonderful returns than the 65% a year. So what we're going to do on the PAM that we're talking about today is we're going to double up this specific strategy that we're talking about, which means that we will be targeting roughly 100 to 120% a year. And the max drawdown that would occur to achieve those results would have been 28%, with the drawdown typically staying under 20%. And then lastly, but most importantly, investor transparency. So as Jamie said, as myself said, there's more scams in this industry than not. So we wanted to bring as much transparency to you guys and our clients as possible. So we built this model very different than the others. So first and foremost, most importantly, we wanted the client and the investor to always be in 100% full control of their capital. So how we've managed to set that up is, again, with the PAM account. And with the PAM account, you guys are the only one that are able to deposit and withdraw to that specific account. And all we can do on that account is simply trade and trade only. And then further on, for investor transparency, you guys will also be able to track your accounts live 24/7 with the program MyFXBook, like Jamie mentioned. And then lastly, for transparency, this is more so on the institutional side, but it does come into play with the retail. So we do not charge any management fees. We do not charge any hidden fees. We are 100% profit share model based. So what that really means is that if we are not profitable for any given month, we as a company, Income Nation, myself, anybody on the team, we also do not get paid. So all setting up that specific model profit share, what that really does is aligns it in the best interest for the client. And then lastly, one other point I can add to that model is that we also are operating on a high watermark. So if you don't know what a high watermark is, let's say that we put a loss on the board of 3% for a month, we are not going to start charging profit share again until we fully recover that loss of 3% for the month. So again, that also lines us with the best vision for the client and the investor. So that is a very, very brief overview of our fund and our strategies. But yeah, as mentioned, as Jamie said again, I really do think that this is the first time a real institutional strategy has been brought to the retail market. And we are super, super excited because we see the market opportunity at play. And we welcome you all to the community. And let's get it going, Jamie.
Awesome, Josh. Thanks a lot for that breakdown. Appreciate you, buddy. Can't wait to have you out in the Philippines. You said February, right?
Sometime around February.
Okay. Everyone on the call heard that, right? I've been throwing some pressure on Josh to get out here with us. We'll hold you to that, okay? Help me, all of you in the community, help me hold Josh to that for February. Thanks. Okay, so shifting gears here, which is really the heart of this whole system for me and many of us on the team, is what you're going to gain access to the second that you get involved into our community. And that is Don Smith's instant and permanent transformation. Bold claim, I know, but any of you that know Don know that he has the goods to back it up. When I met Don a few years ago, he was asking $125,000 per person in groups of 8 to 12. And he had just gone off a stint of working with Research in Motion, which is the company that created the BlackBerry. So he took that company from 6 billion all the way to 68 billion. And when he worked with their co-CEO, Jim Balsley, completely turned Jim's life around. Jim got the whole team together, and after that meeting had a list of 62 names at 125,000 a person for Don to work with the leadership team at Research in Motion. And as I mentioned, he had a strong 7 years there. The interesting part to BlackBerry's collapse was that Jim and those key leaders in the company all worked with Don, but there was a key individual that was actually the creator of the technology for the BlackBerry that didn't. And so ego got involved with the person that created that technology. And when his name is Mike, when Jim wanted to license the technology of the BlackBerry to all the phone companies at the time, which would have took the company to massive new heights, Mike was tied up, his identity was tied up in the creation of that phone. And so he rejected that, and he had the board members turn on Jim, and that ended up being the collapse of BlackBerry, which at the time was $68 billion company. So if you imagine a $68 billion company being able to fail because of the ego, imagine what can happen in your own individual life if you're living a much different existence than a $68 billion company with a lot less resources, right? And so I've been on both sides. I mean, financially, I did well before I met Don, but it was always crazy highs and then an absolute crash and starting over again. And what I realize now, looking back, which was unconscious at the time, was this toxic pattern of sabotage. Because anytime that I got to a high level in my life, felt like I didn't deserve it, cut it all down, and boom, would lose everything overnight. And so Don was able to completely alleviate that for me, which shifted everything in my life. And we literally did it in an hour and a half. An hour and a half. And every single one of you that's involved in the community and about to be involved in the community gains instant access to Don's process. I don't know how else we can gift you to truly free you, because how many examples are there of people that have financially done well, but they're living an absolute mess? Their life is in shambles. They're in and out of rehab or suicidal. And all of these patterns are unconscious. But literally in an hour and a half, you can be fully aware and awake to who you truly are and delete all of that human ego toxic BS. Because all of us, before the age of reason, before the age of 5, had a traumatic experience that created the ego to protect us, as it over and over again actually kills us. Let that sink in. And so as much as we can help you on the financial side, this is the true uplifting. This is the true freedom that we wish for all of you. And that's why it's included. We just finished a group event here in the Philippines with Don on Sunday. And it was all recorded, and we'll be uploading that as well. But we've already done 2 calls for the community. They're recorded into the membership portal. As soon as you gain access to the community, you'll have them. And then every month we're doing a live call as well. Every month. And this is absolutely priceless. It's something that I wasn't able to afford when I met Don back then. And many of you wouldn't be able to either unless we had him in the community. So super grateful for that. From now until the next week or 2, as soon as everything comes together here, we're waiving the membership cost to join the community. So it's $5,000 annually for the community. We've had it on sale at 50% off, $2,500, and we're waiving the $2,500 right now to help you gain access to the Forex fund, the crypto fund, and Don's process, literally gifting it to you. And so most likely someone referred you to our community. You just get back with them. They have an affiliate link, a partner link that they'll share with you, and you can literally sign up right now for absolutely free and gain access to all that we have inside the community instantly. So I'm excited for you on that. I'm going to bring up Sam here because he's had a dramatic shift in his life working with Don, and I want him to share that. Then we'll throw it over to Josh, let him wrap with his experience of Don, and then we'll open it up for questions. Sam, go ahead, bud.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Jamie Devine. And yeah, I mean, this transformation with Don, I will say is, I mean, him saying shift is kind of an understatement. It's almost like night and day. So I'll give you guys a little bit of my story. I don't want to bore you too much, but just to get a little bit intimate, I'm 30 years of age, and I'm a Palestinian American. My parents actually came to the States at when I was 1.5 years, and they came with $1,000 that they borrowed. So they were in survival mode their whole life. And so I picked up those unconscious patterns. I had gone through so much trauma in my life at a very young age, near-death experiences, just the whole 9. I mean, some of you may be able to relate, some of you may not. But just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of where I personally was, Jamie had mentioned making money and then losing it. Well, that was me. I had basically been an entrepreneur for the last 12 years. Got started in the car exporting industry, where I was basically using other people's money, purchasing cars in the States, and then shipping them out to like places like Dubai, to Saudi Arabia, Cambodia, Dominican Republic, just to name a few markets. And made my first 6 figures at 18, then got into the network marketing industry, direct sales, affiliate marketing, where basically the last 10 years I've made millions of dollars. But the crazy thing is like every time I got to a level, I found a way to self-sabotage, which is interesting, because that is something I wasn't aware of. And doing Don's process, which took me like a little bit under 2 hours, he was able to help me alleviate that just like that. And not only the financial piece, actually, I had been dealing with some stuff like with my health, with relationships, with people pleasing, with a number of various things, which I know a lot of you probably can relate. And so Don's process is nothing short of, well, I would say miraculous. And it's not like he's doing it for you. He's guiding you to a place where he shows you how to access your own infinite power, where you can actually create miracles in your life. And, you know, I met Jamie a couple years back. He actually invited me to meet Don through an Instagram message. I actually saw his video, and I was like, dude, like this guy's energy is like crazy. Like, I don't know like what he's on, but I want some of that. And he got me on the divine juice. So yeah, it's been an amazing last year. And you know, I really hope that you guys take this serious, because it's something that I never thought I would ever be able to experience something like this. You know, I've done tons of transformational work. I'm talking about, I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to do 3-day, 4-day transformational workshops, leadership workshops, Tony Robbins, you know, all the gurus, plant medicine, energy work, whatever, everything under the sun. And Don's process is unlike anything I have ever experienced. And this is actually news to me. He told me that he was charging people $125,000 for a group session, not even a one-on-one session, which I was blessed and lucky to be able to actually do a one-on-one with Don. And we spent like a few days with him. And you know, I can't wait for you guys to meet us out here in the Philippines, because, you know, we're going to be having some amazing events here in the next few months as they come. We're not sure exactly, but, you know, all in divine timing. But, you know, you guys have to really value what we have right here. You know, Jamie has basically put together like our own economy with something that truly helps you access your infinite power, your infinite potential. And like I said, $125,000, you're getting this not for $5,000, you're getting it for free for the next 2 weeks. So don't self-sabotage yourself. You're here, you're listening to this, you've just saw all of the amazing products. Don't let this opportunity slip, because the thing is, opportunity is never missed. It's just passed on to the next person. So I really hope that you take this serious, you feel our energy, and I hope to see you on the other side. So, Mr. Jamie, thank you so much, bro.
Awesome, Sam. It always just makes me so excited. Having my experience was one thing, but to see so many people coming through. I mean, I've witnessed hundreds of people at this point, because I haven't let Don too far out of my sight since I originally worked with him in April 2020. And Josh was one of those guys that I called immediately. Said, Josh, you need to meet this guy like today. And it was just a few days later that Josh was a few hours away, drove himself through a crazy snowstorm, almost didn't make it, but he did. And Josh, you want to share your experience real quick? And then we'll get wrapped up in that, open up some questions. But go ahead.
Thank you, Jamie. So yeah, the Don story is most definitely a story I could talk about for hours and hours with you guys, but I'll try and keep it brief. So personally on my side, I never dealt with any childhood trauma or anything crazy in my childhood that gave me, if you could say, mental problems, etc. But when I went to Don, the number one problem and factor that he pointed out in my life where I kept going wrong was simply in my business and financial career. So I would have these crazy ups, make a ton of money, and then basically overnight I would lose all that money and I could never actually keep and hold possession of my wealth. So the real big factor that I got pointed out was the self-belief of not being good enough to actually obtain that wealth. But on my side, more specifically, what really impressed me about the process of Dawn wasn't even my own personal story. It was more so my friends and family that I brought to Dawn after I had my own experience, because when I had my own experience, I wanted everybody I cared about to go through this process and actually see the results for themselves to see if I could help transform them. So a couple of examples of my friends and family that I brought. So I brought one individual, and this individual had and suffered from schizophrenia for many, many years. They were on at least, I believe it was 5, 6, 7 different types of medications. Their schizophrenia episodes were just out of this world. So I brought this individual to do a process with Dawn. 1 week later, after going through Dawn's process, this individual was not on one medication for their schizophrenia anymore, and they also weren't having any episodes. So just that alone to me was a miracle. And then my good friend, he brought his mom, who was an alcoholic for many, many, many years from past trauma. And same thing, 1, 2 weeks after experiencing Dawn, this individual hasn't had a sip of alcohol since. And then another story, which is kind of more so on the business side of things, is I brought a couple friends of mine to Dawn who are musicians. They sing and write music. So these individuals were more so on the self-belief side as well. And typically for them to make an album, it would take them over a year. And then after doing Dawn's process, he challenged them to tap into the knowledge and information that he gave them to go create an album in 1 week. Guess what? They went and created their best album they ever created in that 1 week window. So, like I said about Dawn, outside of what he helped me on the financial and business side, it really opened my eyes up to the wonders that can be made more so on the real deep-rooted trauma that people go through in their lives. And that trauma, it affects everything from somebody's financial state to the relationships they have with people to their own day-to-day mental health. And seeing him able to improve the lives of my friends and family, that's what really sold me over and gave me an absolute wow moment. So yeah, I thank you, Jamie, for making that introduction and seeing the results firsthand, and super excited to see everybody here get involved with that process as well.
Amazing, Josh. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, we're all in this together, aren't we? So some of us may have found some things, before others, but it's just such a blessing to gift that on. And I actually just saw Nicholas pop up here, so I'm going to put you on the spot if you don't mind, Nick. You've had some intense sessions with Dawn as well, so why don't you go ahead and
Oh yeah.
quick.
It's just fun because everyone's experience is completely unique in itself. I mean, I'd always been doing personal development and just looking to better myself. And I thought I was in a good place, but soon to find out, when I was working with Don, that good place was really like operating at 40% of my true capacity. And when I've worked with Don, every single time he's been able to just pinpoint, and I don't know how he does it. It's through is asking of questions and taking you through a rabbit hole, but he finds like the root cause of whatever limiting belief or operating system that you're operating from is, and then helps you. It's hard to put into words, but just completely shift it. Everyone's using the word shift, but more or less just like erase it. So then when that gets erased, you're just like in this state of like, uh, well, if that was never there in the first place, what was this whole thing that I was believing? It was an illusion. So then you're just left with this amazing state of being, like this feeling, this expansiveness, this knowingness that anything is, you can accomplish anything, and your vibration just like freaking goes through the roof. And so through that incredible increase in vibration, you're just in the vortex, and amazing things happen, and amazing synchronicities that you can't make up happen. It's like everything that you've been trying to create and trudge through and better yourself. And I got to do this personal development so I can, and then once I to this level and bettering myself, I'll be able to, achieve this. It's just like all that nonsense gets erased, and whatever you were trying to create just rushes to you. So, I mean, I feel like I dropped a whole person. So it's just this amazing state of knowingness and total freedom and complete. I have a hard time putting into words, but all I know is I was operating at like 30%, and now I'm operating at like 120%, and it's all thanks to Don. So I'm just really grateful for Jamie introducing him to me, and I was skeptical at first, but I mean, when you feel this feeling and you've been feeling it for so long, there's no skepticism. It's just it just is. It's just this expansiveness. So
Oh man, Nicholas, I love you, dude. You absolutely nailed it. And I can tell you, was it just yesterday or the day before that you connected with Don? And
love you, man.
yeah, I love you too, bro. And enjoy it, and just get every ounce of it, and keep sharing it as you are, because that's what we're here to do: light up the world and free everyone up from all the shit we are used to. we, I thought I'd be living with it my whole life, but here we are, as you said, completely erased, dropped a whole person. That's a perfect way to put it. Um,
That's what happened. You like sign on the call and you're talking with them, and then it just gets erased.
I know, and some of those things, man, I was like, and this was after I had already worked with Don. Like I'd have something come up, you know how the ego tricks you and brings stuff back, and I would sit in it like for a few weeks without even telling Don or anything, talking to him about it, and I'd get to the point where like I can't even see not having it in my reality anymore, and then I'd go talk to Don, and literally like at this point it's like 6 minutes it would all be gone. You know. And then I'm like, man, I should have talked to him 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so that's a huge download for shout out to Don, and just really excited obviously for y'all to get that. And literally, as Sam said, you can get it for free right now. Like I don't know what else to tell you, man, except for get into the membership portal and jump on that thing like first, absolutely first, before you try to work your way into the Forex and crypto funds. You'll see how a lot of the fear that you've been operating with, and especially when it comes to financial, because many of us are just used to having such an attachment to financial. So what a gift to go through that process before you look at the financial programs. But I want to end off on this about Don. I've of course been around him for a long time, and just had the most amazing experiences and heard the most amazing stories. But one of the ways that I love that he puts it in perspective is, as an example, he was at a young president's organization event in Toronto. So this was with Jim Balsley. He was one of the lead speakers there, Jim with Research in Motion, the BlackBerry guy. And Jim got on stage and he basically just said, and this is, imagine, like, these are all the young presidents of many successful companies around North America. And Jim gets on, he says, all right, you guys are all fucked up. You need Don. It was like a few hours later that they were doing a backdoor meeting with, I think it was 38 people. And Don asked for a volunteer. So first he asked Is there anyone in the audience that has a phobia? A phobia of, you know, snakes, spiders, heights, whatever. And about half the room put their hand up. And then he said, what about the phobia to rejection? What about the phobia of wanting to be liked? You know, and then almost all the hands start going up. And he asked them, how long have you had the phobia? And for many people, and I encourage you on the call here listening, if you do have a phobia, one of those I mentioned, think about how long you've had it. And the answers are, 12 years, 25 years, my whole life, 50 years. And then Don asks, and how long did it take to create that phobia? And they start realizing, oh, like a moment, a second. So you created a phobia that lasted decades, your whole life. And you created it in a second. Repeated it for decades. And you did that with absolutely no training. You didn't need Don to tell you how to do that, right? So then he says, if you knew how you created it, and you created it in a second, how long do you think it would take to uncreate it? Or as Nicholas said, to erase it? Oh, probably the same amount of time. A second, a moment. And so that's what he does. And that's why we can boldly say that it's an instant transformation. It literally happens in a second. And every one of us did it to ourselves without any training all those years ago. So Don just guides you and shows you how you did it so that you can reverse it. And as Nicholas and Sam and Josh and myself have told you, everything changes after that. Literally everything. So again, I encourage you, reach out to the person that introduced you to this crazy community with these guys wearing pink shirts and smiling all the time and talking about instant transformations. Encourage you to get back to them. We have a partner link that they have. The partner program, I won't get into too much here, but it's really simple. You truly are partners. It's not like an affiliate program, like where you're salespeople and you get like 10% of 1% of 3% of the company. It's not like that. We literally share 30% of all the revenue of everything, whether it's the membership fee, the Forex fund trading profits, the crypto profits, the banking system. Every time you swipe the debit card and the bank charges you, we share all of that, 30% of revenue, which after expenses on our end, the partners are actually getting more of the profits than the system is, which is interesting. So, and the partner program is absolutely free. So again, you just get to one of our partners, ask them for their sub affiliate link, and you can become a partner instantly too, before you're even a client. But as of right now, because we have the doors open, I encourage every single one of you, the very first thing to do is to get inside the portal and find the section under consciousness currency that says I am divinity, and put some headphones on, get rid of all the distractions, and gift yourself that hour and a half or 3 hours if you do both of the calls. so that you too can experience what we've just been telling you about for the last 30, 40 minutes. And after that, we welcome you to be part of the team and spread the good news. So I'll open it up real quick. If any of you have any questions, whether it's regarding the Forex Fund, Crypto Fund, Don's process, go ahead and put up your hand if you're here on Zoom. Thank you to Will and Josh, those of you that have been answering the questions inside the chat. We can't see those, but if anyone wants to come on live, put up your hand. Just at the bottom there, there's a button, and I'll bring you up. And if we absolutely nailed it and you have no questions, that's okay too. So we're going to do this every single day until we tell you that we're not. 10 a.m. Eastern, and in about an hour from now, which is 12 p.m. Eastern, we're doing our daily onboarding call as well, so that we can help you get into the system, find your way around, get access to the transformation and the guides to get involved with the Forex and Crypto Fund. So I see a couple hands up. I'll call on those before we let you go. So Nua, you were first. Go ahead, my friend. Great to see you.
Hey, what's up, Jamie?
So,
Thank you for doing this. Happy New Year's. Appreciate you doing this. And I'm just very, very excited. The first call that we did with Don, it was just amazing. He only gave us a glimpse, you know, of it. And I've been doing it every day, you know, the whole you know, I don't even know what to call it. I just call it the Don method.
yeah, that's
So,
an anchor. That's an anchor to get your neurological muscle stronger. So that's what we call an anchor. But yeah, go ahead, man. I'm excited that you experienced that. So cool.
yeah, I appreciate it. And then so my one of the things I listened to and I heard is that you said which I'm excited about is to, you know, in person, which is events coming up in the Philippines where we'll actually be able to come out there. Now, is that just out of curiosity, is that with Don being there too? And you know, basically the whole Incarnation team, you know, kind of tease me a little bit, you know.
Yes, absolutely. So Don has built himself a nice safe haven in the mountains of the Philippines, about 4 hours away from where we're at, and set up our headquarters. And so he's on call for whenever we need him to come into the city and do what he does best for the whole team here. So we found this amazing brand new resort that's just a quick little ferry. It's a boat ride. So this catamaran that takes you from downtown Davao City. It's literally like a 10-minute drive, but boat ride, I should say, to this brand new resort that we just experienced last Sunday. And to us, we're doing a monthly session with Don there for the team, but we immediately saw the power of like just the physicality, the proximity of all of us being in that room. And just Sunday, we were talking about like, we need to open this up for everyone in the community to be able to come here in person. And so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to announce it. It's coming out right now. We'll do once a month. We'll tell you the next date, but it will be within, you know, a month or two, and we'll open it up for everyone. So anyone that wants to come out here, we'll take care of you when you get here. As of right now, we're not going to charge you a fee. So we'll kind of reward the pioneers that take that leap of faith and come out right away for the first couple, and then we'll see how we have to structure it after that. But yeah, let's do it, man. Come out as soon as you can, and we'll set a date and send out the details.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm so grateful for that. When I saw that, I mean, my mind was just like, dude, I'll hop on a plane tomorrow. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm Jamie when Jamie was like, dude, I didn't have shit. I didn't have money to pay 125K. So I hear this, and not only hearing it, but seeing it and feeling it is believing in it. So the last one that he did, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I would jump on a plane tomorrow. And I think I could speak for probably everyone on this call. Like we're ready on our way. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for that. I just want to let you know how grateful I am for that. And please keep us in the loop so that we can plan accordingly, because that's one thing that I do not want to miss. And thanks for the crypto fund and the Forex fund and everything else. And I'm just stoked. I'm very, very excited. Appreciate you and Josh and everyone else on the call and everyone else that's in here that's sharing their experiences. It's just more because you hear about, I mean, I think it was Sam that said, he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, even went to Tim Robbins or Tony Robbins, and he's like, Don is the real deal. And this is the first time I've ever even heard of Don. So thank you once again for bringing him, to be on my radar and, for that. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you as soon as possible out there in the Philippines. I'm excited. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. We're going to hold you to that flight tomorrow. So you book that flight tomorrow and we'll put together a private deal for you. You send me the flight details and we'll get you picked up at the airport and make sure that you get a one-on-one with Don. All right. So, okay, cat's out of the bag. The only reason we're doing the Forex and crypto fund is so that you guys can all afford flights to the Philippines. And so you can afford to stay on Divinity Island and process all your egos, live the rest of your life in paradise with us. Just teasing. But seriously. Richard, I see your hand, buddy. Go ahead, man.
Hey, Jamie. This is a relatively mundane question, but you almost knocked me out of my chair at the very beginning of the session when you were, and I'm not sure I quite understood it. You were saying something about you were late to the webinar because you were being interviewed for Forbes magazine or something like that. Could you straighten that out? I'm just like, what? Forbes? Really?
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic over here, Richard. It was a photo shoot that we were just wrapping up in order to have the whole interview article out on Forbes. So that's just one of the very tip of the iceberg. We have some TV spots on NBC coming. I mean, there's a lot going on, but we're about to take over the world with this energy and uplift everyone. So we're excited, and we'll keep you posted, man. It's day by day going pretty fast, but we'll keep you posted as usual.
I'm open to a lot of what you've shared, especially about, I forget what Nicholas called it, Don's thing, Don's process, whatever. It intrigues me. I've gone through a lot of my own journey for decades. I feel good about where I am, but I have to say I'm impressed with the genuine nature of what people have shared here. So it's very intriguing to me. On the other hand, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it. And I don't know what I want to say here. It's like speaking truth, my own truth, to power sort of thing. And I'm saying this with love in my heart and a smile on my face. And we're talking amongst, I don't know what, a couple hundred people on the call today. And I don't know, but I get the impression that, a majority of them, of us, might not ever get involved with the Don method. And like I said, I'm totally open to it. I appreciate, everybody's genuine sharing and whatnot. But I'm hoping that you will remain cognizant of how there might be, 100,000 people that want to get involved with information, and the transparency and the ego-less consciousness behind it and all of that, which I fully support, as far as it goes. But then again, out of those 100,000 people, there might only be 10,000 people who are willing and able to get involved with Don's process. And personally, I wouldn't want Don's process presented in such a way as to give people the impression that, this is really Inkmation is really a front for some, modern day cult living in the Philippines, everybody running around smiling in pink shirts, and their guru is bringing in $100,000 per person. Okay. Now, again, I'm not trying to be like, I'm trying to keep it a little on the light side, but you know what I'm saying? That, a personal transformation is, to me, just that, very, very personal. And yet that doesn't necessarily, I understand the catch-22 is that Inkmation comes out of this egoless, divine experience, if you will. But on the other hand, the vast majority of people in the world are not willing or able to get involved with such an intimate, process. And I wouldn't want to require them or give them the impression that they should get involved with that process. That's up to them, obviously. And I would like to welcome their business. And, if they decide to get involved with Don, fine. So I'm not sure what I'm saying other than I more or less appreciate where it's coming from. But on the other hand, I'm concerned that the majority of people won't necessarily be, enthused by this and or possibly put off by it. And it's sort of at counterpoints with, the business aspect of it. But I appreciate they're intimately involved one with the other. So I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say here, but could you speak to that for a minute or two, if that's possible?
Yeah, I totally appreciate where you're coming from, Richard. And I definitely know that a lot of this is going to sound like a foreign language to many people. And then there's going to be a large amount of people that are absolutely terrified by what we're saying. And so, number one, to be clear, it's not mandatory. We're not going to force anyone into some crazy cult and some process. I mean, it's a video that you choose to go through or not. Hey, if you don't want to go through it, all good, man. And if anyone watching doesn't want to go through it, all good. That's the last thing that we want, because at the end of the day, we all have free will. And I've witnessed many people that have gone through Don's process and they're able to exercise their free will. They decided that they didn't want to continue down that road and they wanted to cling to their old programs and patterns, and that's their free will to do that, right? So no one's going to be forced to come out to Philippines. No one's going to be forced to talk to Don. No one's going to be forced to watch the video. No one's going to be forced to come join us on Divinity Island. We're just speaking to the people that are looking for something deeper, that are open to going and trying a video. I mean, how many horror, terror movies have you watched? And all we're asking you is watch an hour and a half process that might change your life like it did for us. I mean, people watch the news every day and get programmed negatively on all the bullshit there because they have free will. So you can choose that, or you can choose what we're talking about, but it's all completely optional. You have free will. So yeah, if you just want to come in and make some money, go for it. We're not going to stop you. So all good. Appreciate you bringing it up, Richard. You're not the only one that feels like that, I'm sure. Ron, I see a question. Go ahead, bud.
Thank you.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. never done this, never participated on a Zoom, so I'm not sure what I'm doing here.
All good.
But I
We can
want
hear
to thank
loud
you,
and clear.
Jamie. Pardon?
We can hear you loud and clear, so you're doing it right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jamie, for sticking it out. I joined back in March and never really got anywhere, but that's my fault. And I'm glad to be here. I just want to clear up one thing. I'm kind of late to the game here in the last couple of weeks. I guess I'm considered part of what they're calling Pioneer, and I guess I got login to the website. Is this going to mean that I am grandfathered into this whole process you've been explaining today?
Absolutely, Ron. Yeah, you're grandfathered in. You have absolute free access to our whole membership portal, which is everything that we've explained today you have access to. And if you need any help, my friend, we have daily onboarding calls now at 12 noon. So one coming up in half an hour, as well as our support at incomation.com email and a live chat on the website, incomation.com. So always here to help you out, my friend. Glad you're still kicking around with us and excited to where we're all going together.
All right. So then I do have some signing up to do then, or just get in there and educate myself on the site.
Yeah, if you have your logins, just get in there. And again, we do the onboarding calls. We walk you through where everything is if you need some help navigating. If you haven't got your logins, then you can just ask us at our support. And then for those of you that are brand new, you just ask the person that invited you to the call. They'll have a coded link, a partner link that you can get your logins that way from them. But
all right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And one thing I would like to say, I am older too, my upper 60s. When we get older, I think we know it all, but we never know what we don't know until we take a look at it. I'm excited about the Don process.
I love that, Ron. Yeah, I love the open-mindedness. You know, Don speaks about the 4 qualities that are absolutely needed in order to be a candidate, and its acronym is CHOW. So C for courage. You need 100% courage. I mean, if you're tuning into any fear, the ego is just going to stop you from going through it or rip you apart if you do. H is for honesty. So you got to be 100% honest with yourself, right? To be able to look at what you need to look at, to be able to, in Nicholas's words, erase it from your life. O is open-minded. You know, you definitely wouldn't be still on the call or asking any questions if you weren't open-minded. So I'm sure you got that one. And then willingness, right? That's that free will that we talked about. Anyone can do what they want, right? That's the gift of free will, for better or for worse, right? So
yeah, I like that. I love it.
Yeah, and as on the age thing, by the way, Don doesn't do age. He, if anyone asks him how what his age is or how old he is, he says forever young. And he's let's just say he's been around longer than you have, Ron. So there's a lot of wisdom there. But as you said, we don't know what we don't know. Really, at the end of the day, you're never too young to teach. You're never too old to learn. And it's just something that, hey, if you're open and willing, it's there for you. And if you're not, totally cool too. Anyone else want to get in the last words before we wrap up? And then we'll be jumping onto our onboarding call in 30 minutes. Don't see any more hands, but if you can't figure that out, go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question or comment.
Jamie, I had one quick question I thought of as I was listening to you. For the pioneers, the membership is free. You were talking about 2,500 now, 5,000, later per year. Is our membership as a pioneer free forever or just free for our first, calendar year?
That's a good question, Richard. It is an annual fee. For the pioneers, we haven't fully decided what we're going to do on that renewal period. We're really just intending to absolutely wow everyone, and everyone wants to continue. But to be honest, we haven't made that full decision what it's going to look like for the Pioneers, especially because we have that separate fund of company funds that we used to help the Pioneers. So we're playing that by ear right now, but we'll give you plenty of notice. We're still just shy of a year from that, so enjoy your year, and we'll give you a heads up.
I appreciate that one request. Would you, when you're considering all of that down the road, would you keep in mind that some of us just don't have the money to make it worthwhile? In other words, what little I'm able to invest right now, maybe $1,000 in the crypto fund, obviously is not large enough to make it worth my while spending $5,000 a year to make what little that $1,000 an investment might return for me, unless I'm totally mixed up about all that.
Yeah, I hear you, Richard. So as I said, we'll play it by ear, and we're intending that getting involved with our community will be absolutely priceless, and it will make financial sense as well to continue however we set that up. But we'll give you lots of notice.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, bud. Okay, anyone else? See, Rebecca, just shy of a year. Yeah, so for the Pioneers, December is when their free year started, just to clear that up. Josh, any closing comments?
Nothing really closing, just one thing. We didn't talk about the crypto fund on this call. So if you guys are interested in the crypto fund, you can go catch the live recording webinar from yesterday. But yeah, hope to see you all on the next onboarding call in 30 minutes to get the journey started together.
Beautiful. Yeah. Totally slipped us. So just to wrap that up, why don't you just give them the quick highlights of the crypto fund, Josh? Just quickly what you did in 2021, what we intend to do now, and just the urgency piece because of the bull run and how we're going to cut off the deposits.
So quick highlights is a bit difficult, but I'll give a brief overview. So as mentioned at the beginning of the call, when I was sharing my story, I've been in the financial game since 2016, and that was specifically cryptocurrency markets is what I first got involved with. And I really just seen the opportunity once I started to do my own research and dive down the rabbit hole of technology that all the various projects offer, specifically Bitcoin is the initial one that caught my interest. But to share of my successes in the industry, so from 2018-ish until 2020 is when I went all in on crypto, and literally every spare dollar that I had, I would invest into the markets just because I seen the opportunity at play and how low of a price that all of the coins I was investing in was currently at. So my total ROI that I did on my portfolio, I fully cashed out in 2021. And from 2018 to 2021, I did a total ROI of roughly 8,000% across the board. So a couple of my top coins that I rode was number one, VeChain. My average buy price for that was half a penny, and I rode it all the way up to 20 to 25 cents. That was my average sell price. And then my second top coin that I was heavily involved with was what is called Matic or Polygon, and my average buy price for that one was 2 cents, and I rode that all the way up to roughly $2 to $2.50. So because of my success in the industry, last year, my partners and I, we started to see the same market opportunity arise in the crypto space. And that was that one, the market was bottoming out at the beginning of last year, which we took note to, and on top of other many bullish thesis points. So at the end of last year, in Q4 of last year, we opened up our crypto fund to just friends and family only. But as Jamie said, again, at the beginning of this call, is that he wanted to get his community, you guys, involved. So that is the only outside community and individual that we're working with more so on the public side. And then why we are actually predicting a massive bull run this year and maybe into the start of 2025 is for many thesis bullish points that we're seeing in the market right now. So the first one is the ETF news, which if you pay any attention to the crypto markets, you've probably been seeing that news run rampant the last couple of months. And that ETF news, the ETF is actually supposed to launch today from 6 to 8 p.m. So obviously that event is insanely bullish because that is opening up the door to massive institutional money that will flow in. And then the second bullish thesis point is what is called Bitcoin halving. So Bitcoin halving happens every 4 years, and it's happening in April of this year. And historically, if you look back in Bitcoin, every time Bitcoin halves, Bitcoin is at an all-time high 1 year after halving. So again, that's happening April of this year. And then the third point is we are predicting they're going to start to lower interest rates this year, which will obviously drive money into every single asset class across the board. And then the last bullish thesis point is that this year is election year. And every election year, they absolutely love to pump the markets across the board to give the current sitting president the clout and fame that he needs. And then lastly, what we're actually doing in the crypto fund and the expectations, etc. So one, we are doing zero leverage trading. We don't want to add that extra layer of risk to the portfolio simply because the crypto markets are way too volatile to do leverage trading, and you'll just get stomped out and liquidated immediately. So we are doing what is called spot trading and holding, and that actually gives us physical possession of the coins, and it's impossible to get liquidated with that type of positioning and trading. And then the type of projects and what we're actually investing in is various altcoin projects that we have information to and that we study, research, etc. And these projects, we typically aim to buy in projects that are under 10 cents. That way, their potential ROI is insanely massive. And then what we're looking to do for hold time, so unlike the FX fund, this fund isn't going to be generating monthly cash flow. This is a one-time thing. So what I mean by that is we, on our side, will only be charging profit share once, and that profit share will be charged once we are 110% out of every asset that we're in. And then that's as well when your money will be liquid again and sent back to you with your profits. And that time window that we are looking at is earliest will be Q4 of this year. And then the latest time window for cash out will be roughly May of 2025. And then lastly, the potential ROI target, if obviously everything goes according to plan with our bullish thesis points, is that we are targeting a total ROI, minimum ROI of 1,000% throughout that time window of 12 to 18 months. So yeah, very, very brief overview on the crypto fund as we missed that one.
Awesome, Josh. Thank you for the reminder and breaking that all down. So yeah, amazing results that you got in 2021. Obviously, no guarantees, promises, golden, fancy fortune telling balls or anything. But Richard, imagine that $1,000 if Josh did what he did back in 2021 would turn into 80,000. Pretty wild, huh? 80, yeah. He got an 80x, 8,000% return in 2021 on his personal portfolio. Again, not promising that, as you mentioned, you know, our low target is 1,000%. We'd all be happy with the 10x as well. But yeah, crypto is an exciting market. That's absolutely the truth. So
Amy, can I ask just one quick follow-up on that? I realize we're running out of time, or I can wait until tomorrow's call.
Go ahead.
Well, this is a lot for me to process. I'm not sure if I followed it all, but maybe one or two other people on the call or in my situation wanting to get clarity. So if our first year as pioneers is free, and it began as of December of last year, 23, and I invest that $1,000 in Josh's crypto, and I hope that he does as well as he did before. That would be great. But obviously, it might not happen. So my point is that he was talking about, if I understood him, that the money would be vested or tied up or whatever until perhaps as late as May of 25. But yet in December of 24, our 1 year of free membership is up. It's theoretically possible that from the end of December of this year until May 25th, my money would be tied up, even if he does hit the 80K or whatever you were saying. I'm not sure I would have $5,000 to continue, with another year that I would now have to pay for. My money's all tied up. I'm a little confused and concerned about that. Maybe that's too much to deal with right now. You've got another call coming up in a few minutes, or maybe we can talk about it later. Or
yeah, hey, that's a great point, Richard. Like I said, we're still quite far away from that, and we've got to make these sorts of decisions. But that's a really great point that you bring up, and we'd be willing, just making the decision on the fly here. We'd be willing for the pioneers that invest into the crypto fund. We'd be willing to, at a minimum, extend that year, start that year membership from when your crypto deposit went in. Okay, just to make it a little easier for you. I understand that point, and yeah, we're not heartless here. We want to make it work for everyone, and we want us all to continue moving forward as we have done absolutely everything we can for that to be the case up until now. So
okay, thank you.
And we'll make sure it's easy and effortless for everyone when we get to that point. Thanks for all the clarity, Richard. Anyone else want to come on before we wrap up? And then yes, 15 minutes, we have our onboarding call. Nicholas is going to help for those of you that have never purchased crypto before, and Nicholas is going to help you with that, especially if you're based in the US as he is. He has a lot of experience with the crypto side of things, the right brokerages and exchanges to use, and he'll handhold you right through that process. So anything else? All good? Okay. Well, really appreciate you guys. We went a little over time today. We got a little bit passionate, as we do. We don't follow the slides and the frameworks and the scripts and all that stuff here. But we'll be doing this again tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern, and then daily onboarding at 12 p.m. Eastern, noon. Thanks for being here, and we'll send out the recording. Appreciate all of you. We'll see you tomorrow.